All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Krakodashis. All praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem in the name of Yahushai, in the name of the only begotten Son. Also, I want to say double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, and peace and mercy to the whole elect, preaching this word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah, Lord will, with another video to edify. And I want to go on to this government shutdown, man. I've been taking an eye on it for a minute now. Shit is spicing up, right? It says government shutdown 90% likely, could last up to 3 weeks. Goldman Sachs, all right? Wall Street is bracing for the likelihood of the lengthy government shutdown, with one prominent analyst placing the odds at 90% that Republicans and Democrats won't reach a deal before Saturday's deadline. And Lord willing, this happens, right? Lord willing, this happens, because what it spells for the economy, what it spells for the dollar, is an all-out collapse, right? We're not supposed to look at these things and say, oh, no, Lord will, it doesn't happen. No, these are things that play into what? The fall of Babylon the Great, the fall of America, the fall of this Edomite structure, and pushing the next phase, which is that mark of the beast. All these things happen and build into us getting the fuck out of here. Right? Because remember, the scriptures have to be fulfilled. Right? And you got, I forgot what this dude's name is right here. But, this nigga been glitching on mainstream news. This nigga represents the government's economy. Forget his name, man. What is his name? Not MacArthur. What is his name, man? I keep forgetting his damn name, but that nigga was glitching, so the economy should glitch too. He was right there. This out of nowhere, out of the blue, stop speaking and start shaking. Well, that's what this economy needs to do. And this is why the scriptures tell you you're not supposed to lean upon, you're not supposed to sit here and trust in this devil system, right? The scriptures tell you this isn't our rest, right? It'll destroy you even with a sword destruction. When they did this whole first shutdown, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, actually. No, it was under Trump. So this is going back, what, 5 years ago? This is under Trump. 3 or 5 years ago, something like that. They did a whole shutdown. You had them Jakes. A bunch of Jakes sitting there begging Trump, please, Mr. President, open up the government again. All right? But those same Jakes went back in this world, fully believed in everything that this world had to offer. They went back and got the same government jobs that they thought was so great. They got proud in those things. And here a new shutdown is. Right? People are going to go at each other's necks in this one. Lord willing. Because then that's going to force Esau to push the envelope more. Now, I'm going to play this from Biden, Creepy Joe. And listen what he says, because this is what the shutdown spells out for Jake. You always wonder, how does this affect me? Because niggas only worry about shit that directly affects them. Right? But this is how it affects you.
Willing to shut down the government. In the meantime, I want to say a word about those in Congress who are willing to shut down the government. Just a few months ago, the Speaker of the House and I agreed to spending levels for the government. We were up right to the very edge, almost reneged on our debt, and that we're going to fund essential priorities and still cut the deficit by $1 trillion over the next decade. Now, a small group of extreme House Republicans, they don't want to live up to that deal, and everyone in America could be faced with paying the price for that. We changed it. We made a deal. We shook hands. We said this is what we're going to do. And now they're reneging on the deal, which is not much of a surprise these days. And the black community in particular is going to suffer if that occurs. For example, shutdown is going to risk nutrition assistance to nearly 7 million moms and children. It's going to disproportionately affect black families. The Department of Housing and Urban Development will have to stop nearly all its enforcement work fighting housing discrimination. EPA would have to stop its important work bringing environmental justice and frontline and fence line community.
Right. So they're telling you right there, those are the crises, right? Jake ain't gonna be able to eat, right? Because Esau, the so-called, especially for the so-called black woman, man, my sister's one of them that believe food stamps is her contribution to the household. That really believes getting government assistance something that you yourself have to pay into regardless, right? Because they take it right from your check. She believes that's her contributions to the household. There's a bunch of nigga women out there right now that think the same way. Right? And it literally, all three of these fields that he mentioned, he said, supplemental food stamps, housing, and EPA, what's been happening over the last 2.5 years, right? Is a bunch of fucking chemical disasters. Right? Environmental Protection Agency. That's what the EPA stands for. Who do you think addresses those chemical disasters? The Environmental Protection Agency. Right? So you got the housing crisis, niggas not being able to eat, and Esau too, because there's a lot of Edomites getting that shit too. Right? And environmental disasters. So this is what's coming down the pipe. Shit ain't sweet no more. Shit ain't sweet. You got to deal with this in the real time. In the real time, what's happening is they collapsing the system. And Lord willing, this actually happens, man. Last time they were able to get something off the ground, it's not looking like, I mean, at this point, why? At this point, why try to get it off the ground? Right? The economy's already wrecked. All these nations are already coming against you. Right? The people are close to revolting. Just pull the goddamn button. Push the damn button, right? Just like in that Rush Hour movie, push the goddamn button, right? And that's all we waiting for. This is let me get this. Isaiah 19:15, it says, you know what, I'll start at 14. It says, Yahweh had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. And what is the perverse spirit that's in the midst of America? This whole mole culture, homosexuality, the whole pedophile epidemic that's in America. Right? This is a perverse fucking spirit here. I even saw a video today where this fucking black woman in the UK, it looked like, sat there and lied on an Uber driver so she would get her money refunded, and said that he raped her. Right? And this bitch is just worried about getting the money back, but she don't give a fuck about the fact that they're gonna report this dude. He's gonna lose his income, and he's gonna be at the threat of being put into jail for however long it is. Right? She don't care about that. Hey, there's a fucking perverse spirit in the midst of this place. It says, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggering in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which head or tail, branch or rush may do. And when they shut the shit down, why do you think the stock market, why do you think people that deal with these large amounts of money is looking at the U.S. government shutdown? Because what? They get that debt. They buy debt from the U.S. government. So if the U.S. government shuts down, that debt that they bought, they can't recoup any money off of. Right? Because they got to pay their fucking debts. This is what happens. So, like the scriptures say, he that lay himself with thick clay. How long? America's laying themselves with that debt. And that's why they always worried about this debt ceiling. The government shut down. They always got to consistently move the debt ceiling. All right? So this place can stay open. All right? The scriptures tell you in the book of Sirach. Let me get this. Ecclesiastes 18:33, it says, be not a beggar by banqueting upon borrowing. And that's what America's about to turn itself into. Right? By you sitting there constantly eating and indulging on debt. Right? Consistently borrowing money, making yourself a debtor just so you can live large. You're going to put yourself in the begging house. It says, when thou hast nothing in thy purse, for thou shalt lie and wait for thine own life and be talked on. And the world is doing that to America. Right? This place is lying in wait for its own life. It's only a matter of time where, you know, they step off that chair with that noose around their neck. Right? All the nations are already talking on it. And when the money starts collapsing here, hey, these nations, they're going to be like fucking wolves among the carcass. Back in Isaiah 19:16, it says, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh hosts, which he shaketh over it. Right? So when this shit starts happening, 3 weeks, man, 3 weeks is a lot of time for you to default on debt. How much quicker will that debt grow? What happens to your credit score rating? Right? Because over the last 4 years or so, the U.S.'s credit score rating has been degrading. What does that make it? Harder to get more debt. Harder to borrow more. Nobody believes you're going to pay on time. Right? Lord willing, this actually fucking goes through. And for everybody that trusted that this place was the thing to lean on, right? This is the time where you leaning on this place. You leaning on America. Let me get that. You leaning on America, it's going to be to your own demise. Isaiah 36:6, it says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Right? That's what America's about to be. This collapse happening. A lot of you Jakes that put your hope and your faith in this place, you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose a lot in those 401ks. Right? What do you think happens when U.S. debt? Because that's the way banks make money. They buy U.S. debt. They get it at a better rate. Right? They buy it cheap. And as years go by, they sell that debt. But since they raise up the interest rate so many times, that cheap debt, there's been newer cheap debt that came out. So now they can't even get rid of them. And imagine, by the time those bonds that they bought are ready to mature and they can't fucking cash it in because they did this, and the U.S. dollar collapses more, they're getting less bang on their dollar. What do you think that's going to do to these corporate companies? They're going to lay niggas off to try to make it up. Right? So you trusting in this place. It says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand. Right? If you lean on something, what? You trusting that it can support you. That's a problem with people. They trusted that Esau was going to make sure that he did what he needed to do to support you. And it's not. It will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Right? This is what it's going to be like. You trusting in this place, you have to deal with trusting in this place, man. It's going to be to your own shame. Right? You're going to be out here glitching like this devil. Just like him. All right? But I didn't want to make a long video, man. I just wanted to touch on this. Keep an eye on this, man. Lord willing, this shit fucking goes kaboom. And they don't come to an agreement. Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to say, call Allah, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, Shem Rakakada, Shalom.